All right, in this video, I'm going to show the materials needed to coat your garage floor and the steps required to do that process, okay? In this case, this is going to be a budget coating that can be done by anyone effectively with knowledge within videos like this one or similar. In any case, kind of first step is to obtain your supplies, okay? In this case, as mentioned, I'm going to be using the budget-friendly coating. And this is a one-part epoxy / paint. So it's a good option. It's not nearly as robust as, say, some of the two-part epoxies and some of the other coatings like polyurea, which I highly recommend for high-end jobs. But this is one that's within reach of most people. To give you a price comparison, though, so if you were to call a professional to have someone coat a typical 2.5 car garage, now this one's a little bit bigger than that, but a typical 2.5 car garage is $4 to $10 per square foot, or roughly about $3,000 to $9,000 per 2.5 car garage. If you were to do that yourself with a similar amount of material and quality, so like a DIY epoxy for a 2.5 car garage, you'd be looking at about $600 to $1,500 for that job. I would definitely plan on the higher end of that budget, though, because you end up using a lot more material than is typically stated on those packages. Meaning, if you purchase one of those boxes that says meant for a 2.5 car garage, I would plan to buy at least 2 of those, if not 3. Okay. If you're going to do it this way, which is the most budget-friendly option that I have found, that is an excellent product there. I got that one for Home Depot, $180 for a 5-gallon pail. If you buy it by the gallon, it's $50 per gallon. Okay, so plan on about $200 to $500 for that option. Okay. Now, a few other really inexpensive supplies I'll talk about, like etching and just in parts to come. But the other option too, not totally necessary, but clearing over the paint and or epoxy, as well as some flakes. I highly recommend the flakes. Those add a lot of character to it. And also, if you do get chips and things, those flakes actually help to kind of hide those imperfections, stains, etc. Okay? All right. And now, really nice to have one of these big rollers. I highly recommend the larger ones. You can use the smaller ones like you would for typical painting a home, but this is 18-inch. That will save you quite a bit of time. You can buy a pan like that, but honestly, materials like this, you can just dump it down and start spreading it out. Okay. You don't need a squeegee like that, but can be useful in some places, and also optional would be little foot pads like that have little spikes in them to keep you from ruining your job if you do need to walk on the uncured portion. And a little bit of tape is helpful. Okay, so that's a general idea of the materials. We'll get moving forward with the process of how this is done now. All right, next step is going to be to go ahead and prepare the garage floor surface. So I've removed items from the area that I'm going to be coating, and I will prepare that surface once it's clean. So to clean it up, you got a broom, leaf blower, just whatever you need to do to get the solid debris out of the area. Then the next step depends on whether it's been previously coated or not. If it's been previously coated, like this side here, you can see there's a old coating that in some areas is kind of peeling away, etc. First step there after cleaning would be to degrease that area. So some of these areas where oil has been on there, or fuel, whatever, using a good degreaser, even sometimes just dish soap can do the job. So it doesn't have to be anything fancy, just get the grease and dirt out of there. Then those previously coated areas will need a primer. Okay, something like that, which goes for just under $50 a gallon. And this garage here is just about 1,000 square feet. If I was doing the entire garage, I would probably need about 3-ish gallons of that recoat primer from Rust-oleum. There are other brands that do that. And that's for the previously coated garages or sealed garages, okay? With bare concrete garages like this other side here, you need an acid to etch that surface. Really, probably the safest, most commonly used acid to my knowledge for this job is muriatic acid, also known as hydrochloric acid. It's basically the same stuff that's in your stomach. So it is a strong acid. That said, it's not like an oxidizer as some of the other things that can be in some of the other acids like nitric acid, or is quite as harsh as, say, like sulfuric acid. So it is still potentially dangerous, so use precautions, protect your lungs, protect your eyes, wear gloves, just to be very careful about that. And when you're applying that to the surface, I'm just going to use a bucket like that. You dilute it. It tells you right on the container how to dilute it. I think it's like about 1/4 of that gallon to a gallon of total solution. And then you can kind of dump it around and spread it with a broom, or that broom actually has a squeegee on it. That's how I'm going to do this. But maybe a more graceful way, especially for some of the areas that might be damaged by that, you could use a sprayer like that. Now you got to have enough of that material. It does need to do enough of a job where it starts to look kind of rough like that. You do not want real smooth surface like here. It needs to have something to stick to, okay? And once you put that acid on there, it'll foam up. Usually it's done reacting with the surface after about 10 to 15 minutes, and then you can go ahead and hose that out of there. It should be effectively neutralized at that point, okay? So really important step. Don't overlook this. I did not do a good job etching this surface prior to painting it the first time, several years ago, and you can see how some of those areas really just delaminated, okay? So let's get moving forward here. Just a tip as you're moving through with the cleaning process, if you want to get these contraction joints clean, which is a really great idea, because if you try to paint over that, that dirt holds moisture and will keep the coating from adhering. So actually a little putty knife like this, or even a screwdriver, probably not your best one, kind of get in there like this, and then a nice strong vacuum cleaner kind of suck that out of there, and then you can get those looking much, much better like that. All right, next step, now that the floor is reasonably well prepared, I'll go ahead and spread my material, and I have an 18-inch roller here for that. Now, if you have the 12-inch that you use for painting at home, that'll work just fine. And if it has a short handle, you can actually just typically screw out the short handle and replace it with a broom handle or similar, okay? Now, if you have one that's more dedicated for it like this, these work great. Just keep in mind that these little roller ends are typically not replaced with each one of these, so don't throw those out. Try to hang on to those and keep them reasonably clean, okay? So, as mentioned, there's a few different ways to go ahead and spread that around. If you're on a really tight budget and really trying to minimize material usage, I would recommend using a pan like that, because you can spread your material a little bit more efficiently. But for me, I'm just going to go ahead and kind of dump this around in reasonable aliquots and then kind of spread it onto that surface. I would recommend kind of smaller areas at a time and then moving on. With epoxy, that's absolutely 100% critical. If you try to cover too much region, you'll end up with dry areas and they will not chemically adhere. So, but even for paint in the one part epoxy, still nice to sort of move from one section to the next, okay? And once that paint or coating is applied, I'll go ahead and use some paint chips like this, or there's other things. You can add a little bit of glitter to it or color, whatever you want to do. I wouldn't go crazy on that kind of more oddball stuff, or it might look really strange, but little bits of that actually add a little bit of character. as long as it's maintained to be subtle. I'll go ahead and use this one because I do like a little bit of that blue in there. But whatever you want to use. Those paint chips can be obtained at a typical store like Home Depot, but I got those ones when I did the much bigger job in my main garage, okay? Now, when you do go ahead and spread those, so you'll see my technique, but I recommend throwing them high up into the air so you get a nice even distribution. I would not recommend just sort of getting down on the close to the floor and spreading them like that, because you will get streaks of them. Okay, and then if you do have areas that it's concentrated a little more than another, you can actually use a leaf blower, and they'll blow off of the dried areas, or if there's a big pile of them, and then those will distribute a little bit more evenly. Okay, so we'll go ahead and get that applied, get the paint chips on that surface as well, and then we will move forward. All right, here the garage floor is all finished up. Turned out pretty well, and a really good option if you're looking for a budget-friendly coating and you're not going to be too hard on it. Certainly if you're looking for something that's quite durable, going to last for a long time, never going to need to touch it up, then I would go with polyurea or, to a lesser extent, epoxy. But in any case, let me know if you got other thoughts or ideas. Really appreciate all that, and thanks for checking out the video.